While Arab nations gather in Qatar to build unity, Africans across the continent and the diaspora are raising their voices louder than ever. They are calling on Captain Ibrahim Traoré to champion the dream of a truly united Africa, with one currency, one army, and one passport. But as the people push for Pan-Africanism, political leaders appear uninterested. Is this the turning point where the youth, the diaspora, and revolutionary leaders rise to shape Africa's destiny? Join us as we dive deep into the global wave of unity, Africa's call for liberation, and the urgent demand for a borderless, powerful continent. Brothers and sisters of Africa, a storm is rising across our continent. Egypt has just announced a bold plan, a NATO-style joint Arab army, sworn to defend any Arab nation under attack. But here is the burning question. Is Egypt stepping away from the African Union? Could this be the beginning of cracks inside the AU? Or could it be a wake-up call for us Africans to finally do what we should have done long ago? Unite and build our own continental army. This news has shaken observers around the world. The Egyptian government has made it clear. They will not wait for Europe or the United States to protect them. They will not depend on foreign alliances. Instead, they are mobilizing Arab states to create a unified military force, collective in nature, modeled after NATO, with one central principle. An attack on one Arab nation will be treated as an attack on all. But as Egypt forges ahead with this vision, questions echo across Africa. Is Egypt still committed to the African project, or is it turning its back? Is this the moment where the African Union begins to fracture? And if Egypt can think this boldly, why can't the African Union think the same way? The African Union was born from the dream of Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, Julius Nyerere, Thomas Sankara, and so many others who envisioned a continent strong, united, and sovereign. Yet decades later, the AU struggles to speak with one voice. Too often, our leaders gather in Addis Ababa only to read long speeches, pass empty resolutions, and return home without real action. Too often, Africa waits for others to solve its problems, while our own solutions remain trapped in paperwork. When Libya was burning, where was the AU's army? When Sudan descended into chaos, where was Africa's rapid response? When terrorists tear apart the Sahel, why must foreign armies decide our destiny? The truth is painful. The African standby force, promised for more than 20 years, still does not exist in real power. The AU, as it stands, is fragile. Egypt's announcement only raises the fear that if major nations begin to build separate alliances, the African Union may one day collapse into irrelevance. But perhaps, just perhaps, this is the wake-up call Africa has been waiting for. Because Egypt's move also shows us what is possible. If Arabs can come together, why can't Africans? Why can't this vast continent, with 1.4 billion people, rich in every resource on Earth, form its own united defense force? Imagine it, my brothers and sisters. An African army, drawn from Nigeria's strength, South Africa's technology, Algeria's firepower, Ethiopia's numbers, and Burkina Faso's courage. A force capable of protecting our borders, defending our minerals, and ensuring no foreign power dares to exploit us again. Imagine a continent where no foreign soldier sets foot unless invited, where peacekeeping missions carry only African boots, where our diamonds, our gold, our uranium, and our oil are defended by African sons and daughters. This is not a fantasy. It is a necessity. Because Africa is the richest continent in the world, yet it is treated like the weakest. Not because we lack soldiers, not because we lack courage. No. Our young men and women are among the bravest on Earth. What we lack is unity, coordination, and above all, the political will to say clearly. An attack on one African nation is an attack on all Africans. This is where Captain Ibrahim Traoré steps into the story. In Burkina Faso, he has become more than a leader. He is the voice of Africa's awakening. At only 36 years old, he stands with the conviction of our ancestors and the vision of our future. He has expelled foreign troops who came not to help, but to control. He has called on Africans to take ownership of their own resources. He has given young people not only hope, but responsibility to build roads, to defend the homeland, to grow food, to embrace patriotic values. Traoré's mission is not just about Burkina Faso, it is about Africa itself. He has said it plainly: either we unite or we perish as divided states. His actions speak louder than the endless speeches of older leaders. Where others beg for aid, Traoré invests in self-reliance. Where others wait for contracts from Europe, he builds with African hands. Where others talk, he acts. And through his boldness, he has inspired millions of Africans to believe once again in the possibility of continental unity. So the question before us is this: will Africa rise to the challenge? Will we build our own continental army, not in words, but in reality? Or will we watch as others carve us apart, exploit our riches, and dictate our future? Egypt's move may seem like a betrayal to some, but in truth, it can be a spark. A spark that ignites Africa to ask itself, if Egypt can organize Arabs into one military bloc, then why not us? Why not Africa? We already have the African Continental Free Trade Area. We already speak of borderless Africa. But without security, there will be no economy, no free movement, no future. Development cannot flourish on a battlefield. Unity cannot survive without defense. This is the time for Africa to decide. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. For while we wait, our resources are plundered. While we hesitate, foreign armies expand their bases. While we argue, our children die in conflicts we could have stopped. The vision is clear: a borderless Africa. An Africa with one voice. An Africa defended by its own sons and daughters. And in this vision, Captain Ibrahim Traoré stands not as a lone soldier of Burkina Faso, but as a symbol of what every African leader should dare to be: courageous, uncompromising, and unashamedly Pan-African. Brothers and sisters, Egypt's choice forces us to confront reality. The African Union cannot remain a weak club of speeches and empty resolutions. Either Africa rises as one, or it will be broken into pieces by others. The mission of Captain Ibrahim Traoré is clear: to unite Africa, not just in words, but in action, in defense, in solidarity. His voice is a call to every African youth, every African leader: stand up and fight for a borderless, fearless, united Africa. The dream of a united African army is not distant. It is not impossible. It is within reach, if only we decide to claim it. Let Egypt's Arab army be the reminder: no one will defend us but ourselves. No one will build Africa but Africans. And so the choice is ours: to remain divided and weak, or to unite and rise; to depend on foreign soldiers, or to trust our own; to perish as fragments, or to triumph as one Africa. The time is now. The mission is clear. The future belongs to Africa. While Arab nations gather in Qatar, speaking with one voice and building their dream of unity, across the vast lands of Africa, and in the voices of the diaspora worldwide, a louder cry is rising. A cry for Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a leader born in Burkina Faso but embraced by millions as the face of a united Africa. A continent with one currency, one army, and one passport. The question is simple: if Arabs can unite, why not Africa? From Cape Town to Cairo, from Dakar to Dar es Salaam, from the Caribbean to London, the African diaspora is calling. They are saying, enough of the divisions, enough of the weak borders drawn by colonial rulers, enough of political leaders who speak of unity but fear to act. It is not presidents and prime ministers who are igniting this fire. It is the people. It is the youth. It is the diaspora. It is the market woman in Accra, the student in Nairobi, the farmer in Malawi, and the worker in Johannesburg. They look at Captain Traoré, young, fearless, unapologetically Pan-African, and they see the spirit of Thomas Sankara reborn, the courage of Patrice Lumumba awakened, and the wisdom of Kwame Nkrumah renewed. The vision is clear: one African currency, so our economies are not chained to foreign banks; one African army, so no foreign soldier will ever dictate our future; one African passport, so no African will be treated as a foreigner in their own land. This is not a dream of tomorrow. It is the demand of today. Because the youth of Africa refuse to wait another 50 years while leaders play politics. They refuse to watch resources be stolen while Africa's children die in poverty. With one voice they declare, Africa must rise, Africa must unite, and Africa must defend itself. But here lies the tragedy. While the people cry for unity, many political leaders turn their backs. They sit in summits, they sign papers, they make speeches, but when the question of a united Africa comes, they hesitate. Why? Because unity means losing the comfort of colonial influence. Unity means sharing power with the people. Unity means ending corruption. And so, many leaders pretend not to hear the cries of their citizens. But history has shown us, when leaders hesitate, the people rise. And today, the people are saying, we have found a leader in Captain Traoré. Captain Traoré did not choose this call. The call chose him. His mission began in Burkina Faso, but destiny has stretched it beyond borders. He is no longer just the president of Burkina Faso. He is a symbol of defiance, a symbol of courage, a symbol of Pan-Africanism reborn. Where leaders fear to speak, he speaks with clarity. Where leaders bow to foreign powers, he stands tall. Where leaders see impossible, he says, it is possible. And so, Africans are asking, will Traoré rise to lead this movement, not as a politician, but as a servant of the African people? As Arabs unite in Qatar, Africans are reminded of their unfinished mission, a mission spoken by Nkrumah, dreamed by Sankara, and now demanded by millions across the continent and the diaspora. The choice is before us. Remain divided and remain weak, or unite and become the greatest force the world has ever seen. The people are ready. The youth are ready. The diaspora is ready. Now, the question echoes across the continent. Is Africa ready to choose its destiny?
Yes, here we are. Welcome and greetings all of you brothers and sisters here in the continent and to you who are in the diaspora. While African Union and African nations still delaying and struggling to achieve a united Africa of common currency, one army, one passport, one president. A member of African Union, Egypt, has proposed NATO-style Joint Arab Defense Force. In a bold move, Egypt has announced the plans to establish a NATO-style Joint Arab Military Force designed to protect an Arab nation under attack. The question that has raised through social media and among Africans, if Egypt will succeed to convince Arab nations, almost 8 African nations will move out of African Union agenda and join Arab nations or Islamic nations to form a one or single army for Arab nations. So while we Africans, we are still delaying, other nations are finding options to come together. So if we are not careful, soon we'll find ourselves into a big division. Because if these 8 countries, I'm talking about Egypt itself, coming to Libya, go to Tunisia, Morocco, after Morocco we have Algeria, you come to Sudan, Somalia, and Somaliland. These are Islamic nations, and they want to form their own alliance. And if they will succeed to form their own alliance, automatically African Union will be broken into pieces. And all those agendas will turn down. The agenda of one Africa, united Africa. So our delaying is giving other people opportunity to find solutions for the challenges. So as we heard, brothers and sisters, Egypt maybe want to move out from African Union or will remain as a member of African Union. But when African Union will come up with idea of, will implement the idea of Africa with single army, and already Egypt has implemented single army for Arab countries, what will happen? What will happen? And how Egypt will be divided? Because Egypt will be in the part of Arab single army. And here in the continent of Africa, the rest of the nations also want to unite the continent of Africa, including Egypt itself. What will happen? So I see a big division. But the good news is that Africans in the continent and those who are in the diaspora are calling, raising their voices that this time we need to come together under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Africans around the globe are raising their voices, calling Africans to come together to unite under Ibrahim Traoré to form a united Africa. Africans right now are not trusting African Union because of delaying of implementation of many things. Till today, we are still struggling with the silence of the gun in the continent of Africa. We proposed ourselves that by the year 2020, at that time, we have maybe succeeded to silence the gun. But as I speak to you now, the gun is still ringing around the continent. If you go to Sahel, there's a gun ringing. If you go to Libya, things is not okay. If you come to Sudan, both Sudan, South Sudan and Old Sudan, if you go to Somalia, some parts, there's Al-Shabaab, in Sahel, in Democratic Republic of Congo, some parts in Mozambique, northern Mozambique, things is not okay. In Nigeria, in Kaduna, in northern Nigeria, you can see. But African Union has delayed to achieve peace, to achieve security, for delaying to bring together African nations. You know why? It's because African Union has no power, has no territory. And for African Union to have a territory, to have a power, we need to come together to unite. And this, it does not need African Union as a continental body. It needs political wills and willings from our leaders, because African Union without African leaders is nothing. And you remember I shared the video when the former chairperson of African Union, Mr. Musa Faki, lamented that himself he was denied to enter in some African countries to mediate, even to visit as a chairperson of African Union Commission. He was prohibited and denied a visa. Just imagine a high rank of leader like chairperson of African Union being visa denied. What about the rest of Africans? What about the rest of Africans? So if we are not careful, this continent is going to be broken into parts. And the project of dividing Africa is real. The project of making black people weak. You know what is happening right now? You see, Arab people are going to form their own organizations, and they're going to create their own strong organization. And the rest black people, we don't have our organization as black people. If you find white people, they have their own organization. If you go to Western power, you find NATO. They're so organized. They have one of the biggest and giant defense organization, NATO. If you go to China, with a population of almost 1 point something billion people, China is so strong. Go to India, the same. India is so strong because of population it has and also technology it has. Go to Russia, the same. You have seen even these countries, they're so powerful, but they're coming together. You saw they formed BRICS, they came together, unite, and formed BRICS. Apart from that, you remember they called leader like Kim Jong-un, Putin came together with Xi Jinping, with Narendra Modi. You have seen these countries want to form their own powerful organization. Where is the organization of black people? Where is Africans, black people organizations that will protect the black people? And that's why you see black people being killed in DRC, being struggling in Sahel, and no one talking about that. But see what's happening when you touch the people of Israel. When you touch Israel, what will happen to you? What will happen to those countries that are touching Israel? It's because Jews are very organized. are so united. White people love each other so much. And that's why you can see Trump is in US, many kilometers from South Africa, but when you touch the land of white minority in South Africa, Trump understands that you are touching the land. You want to take resources, and Trump is coming after you. When you touch the land of white minority in South Africa, Europeans are with you. They watch you, they see you, they say something. But what happens if you touch the land of black people? You don't care. Yesterday, I shared a video of black South Africans chasing out fellow black people from Nigeria, from Zimbabwe, and from Mozambique out of hospitals. Have you seen Europeans or white people do something like that? Have you heard that Germany has chased UK people from being treated in their hospitals? Have you experiencing that Chinese are expelled maybe Koreans because they feel that Koreans are taking their jobs? Have you experiencing that things? Have you experienced something in Europe? But we experience these things in Africa because Africans, we are not well organized, and no one care about us. No one will care because we are not organized. And these countries will continue to split and to move out of African Union. You remember even Morocco tried to apply for for European Union. Morocco tried to apply to be a member of European Union. So you see that these Arab countries, they are not much interested with African Union. And if African Union want to exist, it has to fulfill the dreams of our founding fathers. One of the dreams is to bring Africans together, to unite, not by providing good speeches, not by inspiring Africans, but by taking actions. And that's why we are saying, if we want to exist, let us unite under President Traoré. Let us, all of us, come together and unite under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. If we can do so, brothers and sisters, I'm sure things will be okay. Things will be moving in the right direction. So, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, after that, I have no more to share. The aim was to share what is happening between Egypt and Arab countries. The proposal of Egypt to form a joint Arab defense force, while Africans were still delaying and struggling to form a united Africa. This is a wake-up call to all of us, the people of Africa, that if we don't come together, others are coming together, and they will defeat us. We are saying we are protecting resources, but if these countries will come together, they will join. Arab countries will be powerful. Northern countries, Western countries, they will be powerful with NATO. Chinese will be powerful. The rest who will be weak will be Africans. And when these countries will start fighting, we'll find a neutral ground. And the neutral ground will be in some parts of our motherland, in Congo, in Central Africa, in Sahel. So we need to be organized. We need to come together. So after that, let me say have a nice time. See you next time in other video. Do not forget to subscribe and to like the video, to share this video to other Africans, because this is a wake-up call to all of us. And this is an urgent issue that others are coming together, uniting, thinking about forming a single army. The thing that Africans, we have already planned, but we are not implementing. So have a nice time. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.